If you've already got an iPad, do you need to get a Kindle, or is it even worth it? And in this video, I want to talk about some of the pros and cons of both devices, why I use both of them for reading, and where I see some benefit in still getting a Kindle, even if you like to read on your iPad. So first off, both of these devices are really great options just to reduce that footprint and so that you don't have to carry stacks of books with you wherever you go. So if you've got one or the other, you've already got that advantage taken care of. But I do want to talk about a few of the reasons why I still always turn back to reading on a Kindle, even though it's sometimes handy to have the iPad for reading certain things. And the first big benefit to the Kindle for me is that it's a single tasking device. So there are no distractions that will pull you out of flow when you're reading, unlike with the big bright screen on an iPad. And this is a huge advantage if you're trying to learn something on a deeper level or really just get into flow with the story that you are immersed in. So one thing that I can suggest you do, if you do have an iPad and you don't feel like upgrading at this time, is first put it into do not disturb or just turn off all your notifications so that you've got a device that's not going to distract you as much. And then even though most e-reader apps are going to have different color settings so you can kind of adjust the screen, you can also put your iPad into grayscale so that there's even less temptation from any bright apps or notifications or anything like that. And then the next advantage to having a Kindle that I find is still useful is the battery life. Now, if you charge your iPad every day or you're only reading for an hour or two, this might not be a huge deal because it's going to be charged. You're not going to notice the battery dying, but even getting one of the basic Kindles will allow you to have weeks and weeks without needing to charge it. So if you're traveling or you're on planes a lot, different factors like that may suggest that it's better for you to also have a Kindle as a way to read more continuously, whether you're outside or you are on the train traveling. Now, one of the huge advantages still with the iPad is having different reading apps. Like one of my favorites, Scribd, which allows you to basically have a library in the device that you're on. And this is a big advantage because you get unlimited books to read with it, as well as multiple audiobooks each month for a low fee, which if you're going and traveling to the library and you have to drive there or take transit, you're actually probably saving money that you'd be paying on gas to get to the library and back to check out books by just getting Scribd on your devices. So it's one of my favorite apps that I've been subscribed to for a very long time, and I don't see any point in ever ending the subscription to it. It's so great, just because anytime you want to reference a book, you likely can find it on Scribd and you can turn to it there or listen to the audiobook. And you can start for free and just check it out with the link in the description below. But not only is it great to have multiple app options on the iPad, the other thing that it shines through on being better for is with reading PDFs or scientific journal papers, in which case you've got a bigger screen as well as more highlighting and markup options. But something I don't think a lot of people know about their Kindle is that you can actually send yourself PDFs and convert them to the native Kindle format so that you can highlight them just like you would any other book on the device. And this is how you do that. So first off, log into your Amazon account, or I'll also include the link in the description that will take you to the page where you can find this info. Next, you're going to find the right device that you want to send the file to. And if you've owned a couple of Kindles, like I know in my list, I've got a few that I had to return because they were faulty, or I replaced because I swapped out the basic Kindle Paperwhite with the signature edition. So make sure you find the right device first, and you'll have an email listed there. And I suggest that you rename this to something that's easier to remember, and then open up your email app and send to that email address. Within the subject line, you want the word convert, and then drag and drop in that PDF that you're trying to send. And it'll sometimes take a while, especially if it's a bigger file. I find that sometimes the conversion can take a couple hours, but as long as you're not in a rush, once you sync your Kindle again, you're going to have that item as a highlightable version. Now, the iPad is the clear winner when it comes to audiobooks, whether you're listening through Scribd or on Audible or Apple Books with the audiobooks available there. And of course, also you can listen to podcasts. And so there are lots of different ways to consume the books and media through an iPad, which you just don't get as much with a Kindle. You can still play your audiobooks from Audible on your Kindle, but I just find it's not as easy to connect your headphones to. And so it's really just not as practical. And then of course, if you've just got a basic Kindle, you might want to consider upgrading to the Signature Edition Paperwhite if you're going to listen to a lot of audiobooks, just to have that extra storage space on it. So these are a few of the thoughts that go through my head as I weigh the pros and cons of reading on my Kindle versus my iPad. And so I hope that you found some of the ideas, some of the ways that I use these devices helpful, and leave a comment below on which device is your preferred way to read, or are you hard copy all the way? And until the next video, find your flow.